All right, everybody. So just wanted to try to make a quick sun shelter for my Garmin fish finder here. It's a 75 Echomap 75 SV model. So I mean, it's just over about 8 inches wide. I want to say about eight and a half or something like that. I don't have the exact measurement. But what I'm going to do is I stole a quick clip off of a guy that went to the dollar store and grabbed one of these bins. I'm just going to kind of walk through it a little bit for the Canadian market. These are available at your local Dollarama. They're only $2.50, and I'm hoping that this is going to work out. I'm sure that it's not going to be exactly perfect, but it's cheaper than spending $80 on the Berkeley one. Well, what I'm going to do is just take the fish finder here and put it on the back side of the bin, and I'm going to trace Sharpie just along here to make the cutout. Try to get that as clean and as crisp as possible. If you're using a Sharpie and you're drawing an outline, just make sure that you cut towards the inside of the Sharpie line on the bin. This way it won't make the hole size too big. And you should be able to get a better fit. So I traced the back of the Garmin onto the back side of the bin and just gonna cut it out. So I'm just gonna use my multi-tool here. You could use a Dremel, anything like that. Rockwell, whatever you got. I'm just gonna use this to cut the lines, keep them nice and crisp, and yeah, I'll be the next step. All right, so yeah, kind of left with that hole right there. I'm just going to, actually, you know what? It cleans up real easy with your fingers. Yeah, just get an X-Acto knife and just take all the little birds that are left behind from the cut. You know, keep it nice and clean. This way you get a better seal against the back of the fish finder itself. Yeah, so just take the edge of your X-Acto knife blade here and just go through there and take all the loose little edges off. And if you want to get real fancy, I guess you could bring out your Dremel with a little sander bitty and clean it up that way too. But I think this is going to be more than sufficient for this application. And yeah, actually I probably should dry fit it first. There you go. Mistake number 1. Let's just do a quick dry fit of it, make sure that it actually fits inside. So, aha! Yeah, so I gotta cut it a little bit bigger. So note to self, do a dry fit before you start finessing the cuts. All right, so the next thing we got to do is, as per the instructions, if you're doing a surface mount, you would have to remove this plastic trim. Now, you want to be very careful. Trying to use something too sharp. I just used my nail to pry it open, and then, to be honest with you, I stuck the rounded edge of a butter knife inside, and I just used that to pull away this plastic frame. So, if you just get in there, and just very carefully take your time, don't rush it, okay? So you don't want to wreck it at all. What it does is it exposes these holes on the corner, and you'll be able to screw like a bolt in there or whatever you would like to. All right, so I got both of those strips off. Okay, here they are. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 holes there. So what you're going to do is you're just going to place it inside of the box. I don't know, pre-drill or whatever you want to do. It's very thin stuff, but yeah, I guess you'd want to pre-drill it if you're using a bolt. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, you could technically just leave it like this. You know, maybe remove the sticker, and have it, you know, big and bulky like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut it. I don't know what kind of design I'm going to do yet, but I mean, you could probably half this, no problem. You know, or maybe like 5/8 of the way up the bin, and kind of cut it around. You know, get rid of the top portion of the bin, and then yeah, you would have that as your shield. Now, I'm thinking of doing something funky on the side here, like come down a little bit, make it look like this bin was meant for to shade this fish finder. So yeah, you'll see that what I end up deciding on the next couple videos here. All right, so there's a couple ways you could do this. I seen a guy use his Velcro. Oops, where are they? Shoot, here they are. These Velcro strips. Again, you can get these at the dollar store. Self-adhesive. They're $1.25. You know, with your wiring harness and everything kind of hooked in, you know, you have secondary safeties if the fish finder were to come dislodge or something like that. So at least you would have that as a backup. But you can also use, I'm just using these small little like stove bolts, okay? To be honest, I just had these laying around. They're a little long, probably go about, you know, maybe half inch length would be good, or 3/4 maybe. These are about a 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch length. So, so anyways, you can bolt those. And I don't know if you can see that, but I put 4 holes in the top corners and the bottom corner there, and then this way I'll be able to mount it right in there. So heck, if I don't like it, I'll take it off. But from what I see, a lot of guys are complaining about visibility because of the sun. This is my very first fish finder, so I haven't even experienced it on the water. But yeah, from what I see, people are always like having tough goes, especially early in the morning and stuff. So anywho, yeah, so I put the 4 holes in there. I'm going to anchor them by the bolts, and then yeah, like I said, if I decide that maybe I just want to use the Velcro, I'll use the Velcro. But for now, this is the way it's going to be. So as you can see, I just fed one of the bolts through there, and I'm just putting on the little nut. All right. Actually, these lengths aren't too bad. They're almost flush with the back of the bin. So, so anyways, yeah, you see, just like that. All right, so I got it all mounted in on the back here. The only challenge is it's a little bit too snug. So I went to do a dry fit into the holder on the yak. As you can see here, it's a bit snug there. So essentially, what I got to do is just cut the hole a little bit bigger, which I can do without having to take everything off here. But yeah, no, I think once I get it a little more loose, even on the sides, it's pretty snug there, so it's not clipping in. The holder on the yak there is the mount there is it's just not gripping the back of the unit. So yeah, I just gotta cut those holes a little bit bigger. God, I love Dremel tools. So yeah, I was able to get in there without having to take everything off and cut around it. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but you know what? I wasn't expecting necessarily perfection, but it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So now to tighten up these bolts a little bit and go test it on the mount. All right, y'all, moment of truth. Let's see if this bad boy will clip into the mount here. Oh, there we go. Beauty. Bum, bum, bum. Now, if you're wondering why I went with the teal, it's because I got the Photic old Old Town Sportsman 106. So anyways, the key when you're mounting it is just to make sure that these bolts are not going inside of the mount. They should be underneath. I believe the Berkeley is like that too. So yeah, you see these bolts there. They're underneath, sticking out. So I guess the 1 inch that I had, or 1 1/4 inch bolts that I had, worked okay. I'm not overly concerned, but yeah, it clipped in perfect. So pretty happy about that. All right, so just in case you're wondering, is my Garmin cover gonna fit on there? Look at this. It does fit very nice. So, you know what? I haven't put those 2 black plastic clips back on yet, just in case, remember, for the trim. I haven't put those back on yet. I will be putting those back on. I just haven't done so in case I decide that I'm going to take the finder off so that I can spray paint it and all that jazz. So yeah. So anyways, stay tuned for more. So what I'm going to do is just outline. I measured from the back of the unit to this line. I did 4 inches. I think that's going to be enough of a sun shield. On these bins from Dollarama, it's just above the 3rd ripple on the side of the bin, so about a 1/4 inch or so. Anyways, I started to do the cuts up here. It's cut nice and clean so far. But yeah, just go right around the whole bin with that. And again, if you want to funkify the sides a little bit, put your little own spice on it, maybe do like a jog out or something. I mean, you could. I'm going to see how it looks first and go from there. All right, so there it is so far. I'm just going to clean up the edges a little bit. And I don't know, I might leave that ledge there. I think this little ledge could come in handy down here. I don't think I'm going to necessarily cut it off. If you think that there is a need for this ledge based on your experience, you know, it's not super sturdy, so it's not going to hold anything massive, but I mean, a small pair of needle nose pliers, maybe, pocket knife. If you think that this ledge might be useful, go ahead and just drop a link down or a comment in the comments there, and share your expertise. Like I said, this is my first fish finder. I haven't even used the bloody thing on the water yet. So anywho, yeah, just gonna clean it up and go from there. All right, there it is. So, oops, sorry about that. So yeah, so far so good. And cleaned up pretty nicely, and so far pretty happy with the way it's coming out. On to the next step, which is going to be spray painting it down some. Not gonna bore you guys with that. I'm sure you've used spray paint before. I'll take a next clip of what the outcome was. So I did a quick spray on the box, and that's the look that I'm going for on the box, and the shade visor. Right, as you can see, it kind of jives a little bit with the yak here, and the speckle, and the black, and the teal a little bit. So rinse out on the water, and we'll go from there. Anyways, if you liked the video, please hit the thumb, and I appreciate the support or any comments or feedback that you might have. Thanks.